Welcome to the Bible Forum. I'm Warren Sprouse. Glad you're with us. I want to talk to you about some of the things that have been going on around the world while you were busy working or sleeping or doing whatever it is you do. You've probably heard by now that North Korea blew up a building. They blew up an Inter-Korean liaison office building just north of the heavily armed border with South Korea. Why? Was it a fit of pique over the U.S.-led sanctions? This dramatic display of anger sharply raises tensions on the Korean peninsula. Some outside analysts believe the North, after failing to get what it wanted in nuclear talks, is now returning to provocation in order to win outside concessions because its economy has likely worsened due to persistent U.S.-led sanctions and the coronavirus pandemic. Over in China last week, video conferencing company Zoom sought to reassure global users that it would no longer shutter accounts outside of mainland China at Beijing's behest. Zoom is a video company based in California, but it has about 700 engineers in China and several China-based subsidiaries. Zoom has stated that having their research and development team in China helps them cut costs and is therefore a major driver of profit. The Chinese Communist Party is pushing foreign companies to comply with the demands of its surveillance state, which goes against the values and privacy and free speech that U.S. tech companies have traditionally espoused. China's laws mandate cooperation and coordination between Chinese firms and the Chinese government. A 2015 national security law is designed to safeguard national security, and a 2017 law requires private sector cooperation with China's intelligence services. This means Chinese law requires local employees to assist with the government, information, and censorship. So what will this American company do? Will they move out? Or will they succumb? On the other side of the world, the Palestinian terror group Hamas has warned Palestinians in the Gaza Strip not to publish photos of the Gaza Strip on social media platforms. In a June 9 statement, the Hamas-controlled Ministry of Interior claimed that the Israeli intelligence agencies have been asking residents of the Gaza Strip through social media to use their mobile phones to take pictures of various places in the Gaza Strip. Hamas is warning the Palestinians against complying with the Israeli request and claimed that Israel was using social media accounts to, quote, recruit collaborators and obtain information, end of quote. Hamas added that its security forces were monitoring Israeli and Palestinian social media accounts and would take legal measures against Palestinians who interacted with the purported Israeli intelligence agencies. This was followed by the advertising of a number of upscale, for them, businesses and products offered in Palestinian stores. In Europe, President Trump has directed the military to pull 9,500 troops out of Germany. This would end 70 years of U.S. protection and projection of power in this border nation. Trump's decision and the way it was communicated demonstrate how much Germany's relations have cooled with a U.S. president who has publicly questioned NATO's value. President Trump has berated U.S. allies to step up defense spending and called Germany a captive of Russia for refusing to halt the Nord Stream 2 project, a system of offshore natural gas pipelines from Russia to Germany we talked about last year. U.S. troop reduction makes military sense since Germany nowadays serves mostly as a hub for U.S. operations in other parts of the world, such as the Middle East and the North. After nearly 3 months of coronavirus-related shutdowns that put tens of millions of Americans out of work, destroyed untold numbers of businesses, and shuttered schools across the land, the World Health Organization now says asymptomatic carriers of COVID-19, cited as one of the reasons for social distancing policies, rarely spreads the virus. That was on CNBC. The WHO's revelation last Monday rejected preliminary findings from earlier COVID-19 outbreaks that those without symptoms could spread the virus to others. Some people, particularly young and otherwise healthy individuals, can be infected by the coronavirus but never develop symptoms or develop only mild symptoms, the network said. We have a number of reports from countries who are doing very detailed contact tracing. They're following asymptomatic cases. They're following contacts. And they are not finding secondary transmission onward. Where it is discovered, it is very, very rare. On Tuesday, Vladimir Putin signed into effect a new Russian military doctrine. A doctrine that allows him to order a nuclear weapons strike in response to an attack using conventional weapons. The new rules also allow the Russian military to use its nuclear weapons if it gets reliable information about the launch of ballistic missiles targeting its territories or its allies. As per the long-standing policy, the president can order a retaliatory nuclear strike in response to an attack using nuclear weapons. This new policy gives the president the ability to call for a nuclear strike in response to aggression involving conventional weapons that, quote, threaten the very existence of the state, end of quote. In addition, the document now states that Russia could use its nuclear arsenals if it gets reliable information about the launch of ballistic missiles targeting its territories, its allies, and also in case of enemy impact on critically important government or military facilities of the Russian Federation, the incapacitation of which could result in the future, or failure, I should say, of retaliatory action of nuclear forces. Some of the threats specified in the new policy are conventional forces near Russia's borders and the deployment of missile defense assets and space-based weapons. The threat is very real, as the Russian military is developing weapons, and the U.S. may not be able to counter. In 2018, Putin unveiled 6 new Russian strategic weapons, including the Avangard hypersonic glide vehicle, capable of carrying a nuclear payload. Got my tongue tangled up with my eye tooth. That's the news from around the world. When we come back, we're going to talk about gender bending. I know you're interested in that. Stay tuned.